What a crazy week it's been in crypto. Bitcoin back above 30k in just a matter of days. So the big question is, do we double top here, or are we going to break into new yearly highs? Let's take a look into the charts. If we take a look at BTC right now, monthly time frame, you can see that the monthly candle is pushing above that 29.3k monthly resistance, looking to break and hold above that, which would open the floodgates to the next level, which for me personally is around 34.5k. As we know, the previous high of the year is just under 31k, so 30.968 depending on what exchange, which we are almost touching at the moment. If we break it down to the weekly time frame, big expansion this week. As you can see, we bounced quite nicely off 25.2, and then this big expansion, we've cleared all of this. What's this? How many weeks training is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've cleared about 9 weeks of downside in just 1 week, which is absolutely crazy, only in crypto. So the question is, do we now come up and tag this weekly level of 31.7k, which was my previous target when we were back here in April? I thought we were going to push up, tag 31.7, and then make a decision whether we break through that or break down. Didn't happen. Stopped just shy around 31k. So now, as I say, the question is, do we push up, tag that, grab that liquidity from up here, and then make a downturn, or do we push on to that 34k level that I mentioned on the monthly time frame? It'd be interesting to see. Obviously on the weekly, the structure is very nice. We've been making higher highs and higher lows, with the most recent high low around that 25.2k, and big expansion this week. If we go down to the daily time frame, it has been a rough one for trading in terms of both long or short. If you were short, you've probably got stopped out, or if you weren't using proper risk management, been wiped out. But even longs, it's been difficult to jump into longs this week. You know, it wouldn't have been wise to have been jumping on longs on Monday. We were right in this resistance area where we've previously rejected many times, which I was talking about on Monday. And then from there, it's just been a leapfrog from resistance to resistance. So big expansion on Tuesday, straight up into this 28k level. It was resting around 28k right up until the last couple of hours of the day, when most people went to bed. And then in the morning, another shot up to around 29-30k, and as you can see, we're currently now above 30k. So been very difficult to jump into any long opportunities unless you got in very early on Monday and took the risk that BTC was going to break through this daily resistance. So if you did, fair play to you. If not, this isn't really the area to be FOMOing and jumping in. Even alts, yes, they are running quite nicely, but the last couple of days they've been doing quite well. So now's the time to probably wait, at least wait for a pullback if you're still bullish. But yeah, just trade with caution for sure, because this is a very wild environment, and this is how people get burnt on both sides. Not just people trying to hold shorts in this environment, but also people who are late longs as well. So the market always punishes those that are late, whether that's late shorts or late longs. So just be cautious about this. I would at least like to see a pullback on BTC to this 29.5k daily level that we're looking like we're breaking here. At least pull back, hold that as support, maybe consolidate sideways for a little, and then we can take a look at some other things. Now, at the beginning of the week, I was obviously, the video I put out, I thought that we were going to have a bullish dollar and potentially a bearish Bitcoin, and one of part of that thesis was the fact that the S&P was going to start pulling back. Now, that actually happened. If we take a look at the S&P, you can see the past 4 days have all been in the red, and we've pulled back. And the comparison I made was the fact that the S&P has been bullish on the weekly time frame for a long time. The past 5 weeks, if we take a look at that, past 5 weeks have all been green, and then BTC, obviously the past 5 weeks have pretty much all been red. So it was showing relative weakness. Therefore, you would expect that when the S&P starts showing weakness, that BTC would drop even harder. That's obviously not been the case. Look at the last 4 days of the S&P and the last 4 days of Bitcoin. So pretty hard to predict that kind of thing. Unfortunately, it just decided to shrug off that that relative weakness and go the other way. In terms of the dollar, had a good start to the week, Monday, Tuesday, and then dropped yesterday, and just trying to hold that support today. Obviously, the big factor on my bullish dollar thesis was the PMI data potentially coming out on Friday. Well, the data is coming out Friday, but it being bullish for the dollar, so that's still yet to remain. But I doubt that that data is going to be able to undo the last 4 days of Bitcoin price action. So happy to admit I was wrong there. But as I say, what did surprise me was the fact that Bitcoin did shrug off the relative weakness of the S&P and didn't follow it on its downward trajectory. So definitely caught me by surprise. But you know, you're not going to get it right every time. If we take a look at the alts to watch for this week that I highlighted on Monday, the critical supports that we talked about have held quite nicely. So the weekly range low on VeChain, nice bounce. Could see this coming up to this weekly mid-range, and that would be an interesting area. Maybe a bearish retest of this weekly mid-range and drop further, or close and hold above, have another shot at the weekly range high. ZIL, again, same scenario, weekly range low held quite nicely. Could see this having a bearish retest of the weekly mid-range, which we never got. As you can see, as soon as we broke down, it's one straight line down to the range low. So a little bearish retest of weekly mid-range perhaps, and then break down. Or again, same as VeChain, if we close and hold above, then maybe we expand back up to the range high. And then finally on near, this was the one that really caught me out, because we'd got the weekly close below the weekly range low, had a bearish retest the week before, so I was like, well, that looks like it's just going to break down again, down to 94 cents. But as you can see, it looks like we're deviating back into the range, and again, that should be quite a nice play up to the weekly mid-range, bearish retest perhaps, or again, if it closes and holds above, then maybe it goes up to the weekly range high. So it's definitely something to watch out for. The other altcoin that I wanted to highlight is Matic. So this is in a very interesting situation. So if we go to the monthly time frame, you know that we deviate back inside the monthly range and then came straight down into the monthly range low. However, look how low we were. We're down at 50 cents, and now we're zipping back up, and it looks like we may hold this monthly range low. We've got about another week to go before the monthly close. I believe it's the end of next week, next Friday. If we go to the weekly, as you can see, it's pushing up, trying to reclaim that monthly level. Or well, hold it, I should say, rather than reclaim. On the weekly time frame, though, you've got a lot of resistance here on the weekly time frame, so that'll be a very interesting battle around 70-75 cents for Matic. So something to keep an eye on. If it does manage to hold the monthly level, then that might be quite a good long. But equally, if you wanted to hedge your bets, this wouldn't be a bad area for a short on the weekly time frame. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm not around tomorrow, which is why the video has come out today. So yeah, won't be able to comment on the PMI stuff. I have to leave that until Monday, see if it has any effect. But as I say, the crypto market looks super strong at the moment, and really the only question is, do we double top or do we blast through and make new yearly highs? Look forward to finding out. I assume we're going to get the answer within the next day or two. I can see it all being resolved by Friday. Weekend will probably be quiet, as it has been the last few weekends. So yeah, I'll be back on Monday, and we will assess the damage, see where the dust settles, and we'll go from there. So have a good weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday.